Morning, y'all. It's a brisk 18 degrees outside, but we're outside for good reason. John Shaver's 1960 Apache truck is back from Street Machinery. It was up there getting all the paint and body work done to it over the last probably almost a year now, but it's back, so we're gonna try and hopefully get this thing back together so he can drive it this spring, early summer. So let us know what you guys think of this paint job. All right, John's truck is unloaded in here in the storage building, and I just wanted to kind of go over a little bit and tell you kind of like what the process was behind all the paint and body work that got done on this truck. Dylan and I managed to get all the rust repair done, or at least 99% of the rust repair done before we passed it off to Boris at Street Machinery. This truck we knew needed a floor, but kind of once we dug into it, like a lot of projects, we ended up finding more rust. One day Dylan and I had the doors of the truck open, and I literally reached up to the roof panel and felt something give with my thumb. Come to find out, somebody had put duct tape over a rust hole and bondoed over it and spray painted up inside the roof of the truck. So just to get a nice roof on the truck, we had to cut the whole roof off and replace it. Luckily, Boris actually had a really good cab that we were able to source from him. He shipped it down here and then we swapped the roofs. But after a whole floor, a little bit of rocker repair, custom firewall, custom inner fenders, and a bunch of stuff like that, that's when we shipped it up there. Boris and his crew, just like any normal paint job, epoxy primered it, they body worked it, they blocked it, body worked it some more, blocked it, polyed it, blocked it, 2K primed it, and then it was ready for the patina paint match process. The original gold color, I don't know the code exactly, I'm sure Robbie will put it in here for me, has been put on the truck. This was actually an original two-tone truck, but we went ahead and changed the way the two-tone was laid out. So it is uncommon for it to be a 1960 painted with this style two-tone, but it was just honestly our preference on how we wanted it to turn out. So the roof was painted white, and then at the body line, where the window is where we broke that white. So it is subtle. There's a lot of coloring in the white to make it look like it's starting to surface rust. And then the entire interior of the truck was painted that original argent color as well. Again, I'm not a guy that knows all the color codes and stuff, so Robbie will help me out here and he'll put all that information in here. Played along with what the cab would have looked like if it really sat outside. You know, this white would have been a little more brilliant and looking a little more original, whereas anything where the sun would have hit it and cooked it out west, it's starting to do a bit of surface rusting. Really happy with how everything turned out. All the inner fenders were patina paint matched. Well, every single inch of this truck was patina paint matched. As you can see in some of these photos that Robbie may add in here, we had stripped this truck all the way to bare metal. This is even a brand new AMD tailgate that they faux patinaed to look exactly like it was on there and had been aged equally. This truck also gets a farm bumper that Dylan and I sectioned and sucked in. We sucked it in, I think maybe 2 or 3 inches, and then tucked it kind of close to the body of the truck. So that'll be going back on, but before we really get this truck all the way together, it's got to come all the way back apart again. All the chassis and the wheels, all that stuff was intentionally left raw. If you guys have ever had a vehicle at the body shop, you know that it's a dirty environment, right? So there's potential for overspray and Bondo dust and all that stuff. So our preference is to get all this done and then pull it all back apart, and then we final assemble the chassis once it's been powder coated. We put the drivetrain in it, all the wiring, all the plumbing, and all that stuff that we've done before now, all that stuff can go back on. And real quick, I'm gonna show you guys my favorite part of this paint job. They aged the front bumper to look like it's had a license plate on it for 60 years. I love it. It's just one of the little attention to detail things that I think that most everyone can appreciate. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up and a little quick walk around on this truck and why we like it so much. I'm sure that this patina job isn't for everyone, but we love it. It's the owner's vision to a T. He wanted a truck that was an original gold paint truck. And this truck, if you go back to early photos, when we got it, it was white. And we know that white had been laid on top of the gold. But once we started to dig, that's whenever we found that the white on top or on the bottom half of the truck didn't end. That white was the original white of a two-tone truck. So anyways, he wanted the full gold color truck, and he got it. It looks like a perfect Survivor truck to me. And I think this is gonna be one of the coolest things to roll out of this shop in a long time. A lot of style, a lot of taste, a lot of power. To wrap this up, I want you guys to know these are a 20-inch forged line OE wheel. So these are a forged aluminum wheel that does look like a steel wheel. So this is kind of our taste and our passion and a good high quality performance wheel, but in a 20-inch size. So when it lays out on the ground and puts the frame on the ground, it'll still look like a real low air truck, but with not a huge wheel. So anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks a lot. All right, I got something cool to show you. Come follow me. So you guys have been following along on social media and on YouTube for probably the past year on this building, and it's finally at a point where I'm excited to show you. A year ago, maybe a little more than a year ago, we had made the decision to start removing all the trees from the property we own across the street to make room for a building and then future expansion beyond that building. So the building you have in front of you now is pretty much a warehouse. All our customers that are waiting, like their chassis that we already have or trucks that we buy, that are in queue to be built, all that stuff gets stored in here. And then as we move into selling more parts on our website, we're gonna need room to store those parts too. So that's pretty much what this building exists for. One of the little side features is that we're building an apartment inside that. It's not done right now, but all the plumbing's in there. The fuse blocks in there or the power panels in there, but maybe late winter, early spring, we're going to start building out the apartment. So if Ed, our tuner, comes in town to do some tuning with us, he can stay in the apartment. Or if Jimmy comes up from Nashville to help fabricate for a few days, he can stay there. And really that's a financial decision on our part, so we're not spending money on hotel rooms. At $200 a night on a hotel room for a week, I just eat that cost. The customer's not responsible for that. So here at least, saving that money pretty much pays for an apartment in this building. So I guess I'll walk over here real quick and show you how it turned out on the outside. So one of the things that I initially drew on pencil and paper drawing of the building was I wanted like a front porch, and instead of like having it hang off the building and have awnings off, I decided to see if it would work if we would just kind of cut into the building a little bit, and I think it worked out pretty good. These are actually it's a pole barn, so you guys that are in red steel parts of the country, this is a pole barn, so they're laminated boards that make a pole, and so these are the poles for the building structure. We just wrapped them in cedar and stained the cedar. Well, that's the concrete floor. That's the pour for the entire base of the building. And so we just built a little wall and then a little ceiling in there. And so I've still got to put a couple lights up in there, but it's just it's kind of neat. It faces the west, so if you are here and you're staying in there, you can sit out here and have a drink in the evening, watch the sun set, and I'm going to put a fire pit out here too, and we still got a landscape around the building, but a lot of the way it turned out is due in fact to Sean and her taste. She wants everything black windows, black doors, black trim, but I'm pretty happy with how this has turned out. But we'll walk inside. Right now, there's going to be parts everywhere because we haven't moved our shelving in yet. So these are all parts for trucks that we're building now, and then trucks that are waiting to be built, and then even rolling chassis that we got to finish up in the next few months to ship out to customers. If you look at the floor, this cut line, we scribed the cuts under the wall so you don't see them as much in the apartment. So this is where the apartment wall is going to be. I think this is 15 feet this way, and then it leaves us, I think, 44 feet long. So it's a pretty good size apartment. I know all this crap's in the way, but here's like a little kitchenette. So this will be a big front living area. This is a little hallway that I'm standing in now. So I have a really pretty good sized bathroom. Sean wants to do like one of those walk-in showers, you know, where there's not a door, and then a pretty big bedroom in the back. And then we built these two trusses with a little more room. On top of the apartment, we're gonna build floor joists, or put floor joists, you know, as the top of the apartment. And so when you come in this man door, there'll be a staircase here that leads upstairs, and then this will all be mezzanine. So there'll be railing up there, and then I think a lot of our long-term storage stuff, or manufacturing sub-assemblies, or even fixtures, like that stuff can be stored up here. So there's really a lot of room up on top of the mezzanine that can be used for storage. All our big steel shelving will go along this back wall. And then it still leaves us a ton of room. Plenty of room for our camper to be in here and out of the weather. They wired up a 50 amp plug so we can keep the camper plugged in. And then I've got a drain back there too. So when we come back, we can do our clean out here when we park it. So that's pretty convenient. If you guys haven't seen, Sean and I bought a Mach-E, so we put her charging station here so she can park inside at night and plug her car in, and keep my tractor in here and keep it clean. I think it's 51 feet this way, 60 feet long, and I think the bottom of the truss is just under 16 feet if you guys wanted to know those specs. I was in disbelief when he told me how good these little cheapo lights were gonna be, but for a storage building, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, I don't have hardly any money invested in lighting.
Yeah, they definitely light this place up.
And I don't know if you noticed last night, but those two lights are softer lights so that, you know, if you're gonna stay in the camper, at least you've got some lighting to know where you're going in. And those can turn on and off on that wall over there. So that's it. That's kind of a wrap on what the building turned out looking like. I don't know, it's been exciting to kind of reinvest in our business, in storage, kind of make it more convenient for people that help us do work, and even for clients that come in and out of town. So pretty excited to have this done.